Hello and welcome to the Joe Ligato Show. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Ligato, and today we're going to be talking about how the United States and the Western world is just running out of ammunition. I mean, it's so embarrassing that America has just a money printer. They're able to create wealth for themselves out of nothing because they don't have to back it up with anything tangible. And despite that, they're just not able to convert that unlimited money supply into actual manufacturing capacity. They've lost the capabilities for it. They've lost the technical know-how, the actual factories to create the ammunition, things like that. I mean, it's horrendous to see. And so let's read this article from Sputnik Globe. And I try to read articles and provide commentary on articles from all across the spectrum. This is obviously a Russian news source, and I've heard this from a number of different sources, though, so I do believe this is legitimate. And quite frankly, if you look at the amount of ammunition Ukraine has compared to the amount of ammunition Russia has in the current conflict, it's very obvious that the West is just not able to produce ammunition like they were able to before a few decades ago. And on top of that, we're seeing that the United States is trying to provide ammunition to Israel and Ukraine now, and they're not able to do both. They're not even really able to do one at this point. And so that's why I believe this article is probably accurate. But let's read on. So let's see. Can I make this look better? This is not the best looking article. See if I can. All right, this looks okay. Okay, I tried a different dark mode there for a second. So this article is titled "U.S. Scrambles to Ramp Up Munition Production After Biden's Low on Ammo Slip." Okay, so the Biden administration is scrambling to boost production of munitions as stocks dwindle due to vast amounts being funneled to Ukraine, revealed John Kirby. So the Biden administration is looking to boost munitions production as stocks dwindle due to vast amounts being funneled to Ukraine. Okay, we said that. We're working very closely with the defense industry to try to ramp up production, particularly for artillery shells, and that's not been working. Okay, so this conflict in Ukraine has been going on for well over a year, almost on 2 years now. And despite that, the United States has shown, and the West has shown, nearly no ability to ramp up production. Okay? There's just not the factories for it, and there's not the know-how to be able to create this ammunition anymore. Actually, I was just reading that the United States gave up on creating a railgun in 2021 because it was too technologically difficult, and China just created a railgun. So the United States just doesn't have the capability to do things. It doesn't have the know-how to do things anymore. Okay, so John Kirby is the coordinator for strategic communications at the National Security Council in the White House. Referencing the recent decision by Washington to provide the Ukraine authorities with cluster bombs, he added, okay, so part of the reason they're providing cluster bombs is to try to increase the suffering and increase the hesitancy amongst the Russian forces, but also part of it is simply they've run out of everything else. Like it's so embarrassing. Like I provide so much commentary on so many different topics related to the decline of America and the rise of the multipolar world, but I'm still in shock. Even though I predicted this over a decade ago, I'm still in shock by how quickly this is happening, how incompetent America became so quickly. But anyways, let's move on. So you saw that we gave some cluster munitions to Ukraine as a bridging solution here while we ramp up production. We're having very, very strong conversations with the defense industry, and we believe that we'll be able to get there. They've not been able to get there in almost 2 years. It's not going to happen. Kirby could see that the process was a multifaceted one and would involve hiring more workers, retooling, adding capacities in factories and manufacturing capabilities. I should also mention, I said nearly 2 years, but they actually knew that Russia was likely going to invade Ukraine at least a few months in advance, and they really tried to provoke it since 2014. So they had the time to ramp up ammunition manufacturing capacity, and they were just not able to, even given what I would suspect is at least 2 years, and really more like a decade to ramp up production if you're going to have a hostile takeover of Ukraine in 2014, which they definitively did. We have all the evidence we need to know that. But they just were not able to. There's no manufacturing capacity left for them to ramp up. Okay. So Kirby conceded that the process was a multifaceted one and would involve, we already talked about that. We're serious about doing that for some period of time. However, there's a low on ammunition remark that Joe Biden made, and he was skewered on the internet after he slipped up, saying the United States is running low on ammunition. Yeah, that's the thing where this Israel conflict started, and how are they going to handle both Ukraine and Israel at the same time? It's just... And then you have Venezuela potentially going in and intervening in Guyana. Just all across the world, the United States is not able to handle one of these conflicts, one of these theaters of war, and yet it seems like it's going to try to do all of these at once. Okay. So the Democratic president doubled down on the importance of transferring lethal cluster munitions to Ukraine. This is a war related to munitions, and they're running out of that ammunition, and we're low on it. So yeah, they said the quiet part out loud. They're trying to figure out solutions to this. It's just not working. So they have a package of over $800 million that they're giving to Ukraine. Okay, so this is interesting. I didn't know this. The United States does not plan to restore its own stockpile cluster munitions to replace those handed over to Ukraine. So they're really just using this to free up some storage space for things that... It's really bad to use cluster munitions because of the horrendous casualties inflicted and the severity of them. It's like not a clean death for people, and it can lead to like some really permanent injuries without actually killing people. And so cluster munitions is not something you want to use, particularly since it does make other countries very unhappy with you. And so the United States is just saying, sure, we'll get rid of this by using it on the Russians, by giving it to the Ukrainians. Okay, so this article goes on to say, our current plan is not to replenish that stockpile, it's rather to build up the capacity to produce the unitary round, the 155, the non-cluster munition round of that ammunition. We began that process months ago because we anticipated the need for continuing supplies to Ukraine, but it takes time. Okay. The United States are doing this not because of the good life, but because they are running low on ammunition in general. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. That was Vladimir Putin who said that. Okay, Russian leader recalled that Washington previously referred to the use of cluster bombs as a crime. So this is the thing. United States is thinking it's still in the era before things can be recorded, like television recordings. They're not recognizing that everyone is on the internet now. And so if you say that using cluster munitions is a crime, and then you're giving cluster munitions to Ukraine to use to commit the crime, I mean, that makes you an accomplice to the crime. Like it's very clear cut that you're using what you consider to be criminal munitions right now. And it's horrendous. And we should always call out the hypocrisy when we see it. And there's so much hypocrisy in America right now. You have to call it all out. Okay, what else do we have here? The Biden administration is looking to boost munitions production. We talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that. All right. Anything else here? I think that's everything for this. Yeah, it's a very simple article. Whoops. Yeah, not much to go over here. It's just scary that the West is in this situation, and there's no coming back from this. I've talked about it. It's clearly a terminal decline where the West can't handle, it doesn't have the competency to handle making anything at this point. It's just gotten so used to using economic sanctions, economic punishments to bully other countries in the world that's just not qualified to actually fight a conflict against a peer or near peer rival. And that's frankly what it's doing right now. I heard, I believe it was Lloyd Austin from the United States government who said that if you don't provide weaponry, funding, and things like that for Ukraine, that it's going to be your sons, brothers, uncles, etc., that are going to be going into war. And so the United States is very serious about defeating Russia here because Russia is not an end goal. Russia is a means to an end, which is they want to surround China. And so for them, I don't understand their current strategy at all, which is they should have, and I'm very pro-Russia, so I would not have done this because I'm pro-Russia, but if you're the United States, what you needed to do is either don't piss off Russia or completely defeat Russia. But pushing Russia enough that they get stronger and they hate you forever is not the correct strategy. And so it seems like there's no making amends with Russia at this point. I just don't see how that would be possible. I know Vladimir Putin has said it might be possible with the United States, but not with Europe, but I just don't see how it's possible. I really don't. The Russian people are not for it. The American people don't like Russia because of all the propaganda they've been fed. And so I don't see that happening. And so the United States' only real action at this point is you have to go all in against Russia in order to try to topple it. And so we will see if they do that, but it does sound like Lloyd Austin certainly wants that. And there's a number of generals which have talked about going to war with either Russia or China or both. You see so many articles nowadays talking about how the United States can handle going to war with both Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, Venezuela. I mean, the United States is just going to go to war with the entire world. And they think they're going to win, despite the fact that they can't even win against the Afghanistan goat herders. I mean, it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. But anyways, that is the end of our video. If you found it to be informative, helpful, eye-opening, whatever, please give us a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm. Please subscribe to our channel on both YouTube and Rumble for more content. Tell a friend about our channel. We are trying to get some publicity for the channel. We are trying to open up people's eyes to different things. I do feel like I have enough practice now that like we can start to make it big. It's not just me practicing while talking to myself here. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, critiques, please leave that in the comment box below. I do read all of them, and I do try to respond when necessary. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.